Welcome, NoDQ Galaxy, and we're back on track with the NoDQ review number 37, and I am Virtue here with Aaron Rift, TJS, and Big G. What's up, gentlemen? How's it going today? We are after Smackdown 1000, which Big G went to, so I will start with you. How's it going? Don't talk too much about it yet, but did you have fun?
I'm doing good, Virtue. Nice fall weather here, and I am doing excellent. And when we get ready to, I'll start off about SmackDown 1000.
Did you have fun?
I did. Yes, I did.
Good. TJS?
Well, I wish Arkansas had a fall, but we go straight from summer to winter. It went from the 90s to 55, like the weather saw a state trooper. It's crazy. It's freezing here, and it's supposed to be in the 70s tomorrow. So should be a good discussion here. Aaron, how's the Portland weather?
It's been great. It's in the 70s right now. It was hot in Los Angeles, and it's very nice here in Portland. So I'm looking forward to the next week or so. It's supposed to stay warm. But yeah, lots of topics to cover today. We have SmackDown 1000. We have Crown Jewel, which is taking place somewhere in the world. I'm not sure where because WWE did not say anything. I know Virtue has all the topics. So Virtue, you want to go ahead and get us started today?
Yeah, and first of all, I see Michael Myers creepily looking at me, so I'm a little weirded out because the Halloween movie's coming out this week. And,
yes, it is. I'm going to be checking that out.
I am too. My dad and I have seen everyone at the theater since maybe 4 that I can remember. 4? Yeah, I think it was 4. We've seen everyone at the theater.
Nice. I also have a Freddy Krueger life-size mannequin outside my apartment on the balcony. I'm going to be posting a picture of that very soon. Until the apartment complex tells me I have to get rid of it. I just have it out there scaring people.
Andrew, well, that's what. But you should. That's Halloween.
Yeah.
Do you have a Freddy glove, Aaron?
Yeah, he has a glove. You'll see the picture soon.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of Halloween, though, it is October, and it seems like we don't get too many creepy things in wrestling these days. I mean, Undertaker and Kane have been cited in the boiler room.
Yep.
Let's start with SmackDown 1000. So, Big G, you were there. I'm going to start with you. So, a couple of the bullet points that I want your thoughts on, plus whatever else.
Okay.
I enjoyed Edge's promo with Becky. None of this stuff necessarily is perfect because they're coming. You got to remember, the part-timers and the legends are coming in, and they don't do this all the time anymore. So they're probably learning what they're going to say the day of. But I did enjoy that spot. It kind of made Becky make fun of it. Not make fun of Edge, but, Edge had his, like Vince Russo said it. I think it was Vince Russo had his hand on his Johnson when the interview was over. Becky put him in his place. You know what I mean? Like, Edge did not look strong there, but I don't think he had to. I think it was about Becky. I enjoyed that. The evolution, like, what's weird about it to me is you have Shawn and Triple H with DX for this Crown Jewel show, but then SmackDown 1000, let's just have Evolution together. And like Orton did his thing where he kind of ripped the other guys. Flair was just kind of there. He was just happy to be there, right? Flair just happy to be there, happy to be breathing. I'm glad he got over his medical issues a year ago. We still get to see the Nature Boy walk that aisle. That's awesome. Triple H and Batista had a little interesting glare. So, Big G, what are your thoughts on those two topics to start off with?
Well, I enjoyed those two. I think I enjoyed the Evolution promo a little bit more. Batista got his big pop when he came out. Actually, all of Evolution did. I enjoyed the line where Batista told Ric Flair to keep it in his pants. Space Mountain, I like the stare down between Triple H and Batista. Teased it a little bit, and then they hugged afterwards. Randy Orton, he's a heel now, so he had to cut a little bit of a heelish kind of thing on his guys. Triple H did good too. Cutting Edge, I like too. Edge came out. Tony Timmel did his thing with the whole Rated R Superstar thing, which was awesome.
Question: was he actually there? Or was that overdubbed?
No, he was there. He was in the where the ring announcer, not the ring announcer, but where the time bell is, where the ring bell. He was like right there. He was right there in the corner.
Because they didn't show him. I was like,
yeah, he was there. Trust me.
Who's that? Tony Chimmel?
Yeah, Tony Chimmel, the Rated R Superstar. It was a good promo. Edge did good. Becky did good. Then they had Charlotte came out, had their pull apart brawl again. Like we haven't seen that a million times. I enjoyed it. I also enjoyed. I'm glad the Bar finally won the SmackDown titles. Big Show turned heel for the millionth time.
1,000th time, right? For SmackDown 1,000.
Yeah, 1,000 times. Pancake table, I think, is a foam table because when they lifted it up, it didn't even look like it was heavy. They just went boop and they put it right next to the other announce table.
Who was sitting there at that table? The King and Booker T?
Yeah, King and Booker T, yep. So that was kind of cool. I mean, they both did commentary for SmackDown at one point in their careers. The crowd was pretty loud there. I mean, where I was sitting, there was still some empty seats, but on the camera side where they actually show everybody in there, that was pretty full. So
no big tarp sections, huh?
No, nothing was tarped off. They still had seats open, though. Like I said, SmackDown Live didn't sell out like they said they did. So
wait, is there a helicopter coming in here? Was that me?
That was Sting.
Was that the Evolution? No, I thought that was Evolution's chopper.
No, like the Panama City Nitro, Sting came in on the helicopter. That was what that was.
Well, Evolution used to have a chopper sound, didn't it?
Yeah. In their movie, in their entrance, Tron.
Sure. But yeah,
I see that shirt you got, man.
Evolution is a mystery. So,
main event.
TJS, your thoughts on SmackDown 1000?
Oh boy. Well, I don't understand why Evolution was there. It still wasn't explained. They just came out there and like, hey, we're Evolution. This is Batista's hometown. We needed star power, so that's why we're here. Like it just felt like filler to me. Sure, I love seeing Batista in his hometown. He looked very happy. I loved seeing Ric Flair, but it didn't make sense with Randy Orton. He wasn't happy to be there. He was just like, "Hey, I'm better than you guys."
Well, yeah.
It felt like an old band getting back together when they just don't have it anymore. Even though they all have it as a group, or not as a group, but individually. Except Ric Flair, I don't think he can go anymore.
Somebody should have got heat and took down Flair, even if it was just like one little hit.
Because he's taking bumps.
No. Time out. Aaron Rift. I'm not saying get a Batista bomb or an RKO or a pedigree, but like a little hit to the face where he could just kind of fall down.
You know, at his age,
could handle
when he falls down, it's hard for him to get up.
He could do it.
One time, Paul, and you break a hip at Ric Flair's age.
If he took a punch to the face, he would have had to blade.
Yeah.
He would have punched him once, and then he comes up with the Crimson Mask.
That's what he lives for, man. But it's just, go ahead, TJS. I just felt you're right. They did it very cookie cutter. Hey, here's Evolution. Let's just make a couple verbal jabs. End of segment.
And people are like, oh, well, they set up Batista versus Triple H. Well, no, they didn't, because Ric Flair was just like, calm down, and that was it.
It's called a tease, TJS.
But do you think we're gonna? If this happens,
it's a little bit of foreplay, TJS.
It's just going to be announced on social media if this happens. You know that.
You're such a party pooper, man.
Well, okay. Then
I mean, granted, you were correct about the Rock's tweet being shown. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Truth TV and how bad those dance breaks are. Except, I didn't mind seeing Carmella dance around. That was nice.
So wait a minute. You don't like the dance breaks, but you don't mind seeing Carmella dance. Wait, what?
I didn't want
Time out. Time out. Time for a dance break.
Oh, my God.
All right, back to the show.
I don't know. I thought it was I didn't think that this show didn't feel like a big deal to me. I guess that's the best way to put it. We had The Rock just do the tweet where he was like, oh, guys, SmackDown 1000. And John Cena couldn't even be there. John Cena used to be on SmackDown weekly. And, it felt like the B show to me. Everything felt rushed, like you guys have said. And like Aaron said, I think this show, if any episode, should have just been 3 hours. So that way everything wouldn't just feel like it was like, okay. AJ Styles didn't even get a full entrance. So And Rusev and Miz got no entrance. They got the jobber entrance. So, and that was supposed to be a World Cup qualifier. They're billing this tournament to be so prestigious, but the guys in it can't get entrances. Come on,
Right.
Aaron.
Well, Ray returned.
Yeah, Ray returned, and he's in the World Cup, and it's funny.
I did enjoy that too. I enjoyed Ray
The
Mysterio.
World Cup doesn't have anybody outside of the United States. I mean, Rey Mysterio was born in San Diego, so technically everybody in the World Cup match is American.
It's the U.S. Cup.
Yeah, pretty much it's the U.S. Cup. I think Rusev even made a mention of it on his Twitter feed today.
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys all had some great points. SmackDown was good, but definitely could have been a lot better. And I'm not a big fan of the 3-hour shows, but I think this was one week where you could have justified making it a 3-hour show. I still think SmackDown, it's the B show. It's going to be that way until next year on Fox. And then maybe we'll see some sort of change where SmackDown becomes the A show. You know, SmackDown will be taken more seriously if Roman Reigns goes over there next spring for the Superstar Shake-Up.
Do you guys think that, with The Rock being such a big Hollywood star, and it's just really, I mean, you can't even guarantee him for Mania, right? Do you think that we see The Rock on the first episode on Fox?
Ooh.
That that would be intriguing.
I think The Rock and his situation, Saudi Arabia might be an influence on The Rock not coming back to WWE, maybe not being part of SmackDown 1000 because it's bad publicity for him. I mean, WWE, we're going to talk about this here in a minute. WWE is most likely going to go through with the show. But if you're The Rock, do you really want to be associated with that negative press right now when he's doing his thing? So that could be a reason. A year from now, maybe things will change, but who knows?
But Aaron, he's The Rock. It doesn't. He's in like every movie, and I don't think bad publicity would hurt The Rock because I mean he was the highest paid actor.
Yeah, but he doesn't need WWE.
No, he doesn't.
And that's the big issue there. That's why it'd be hard. And he probably demands quite. I mean, it would literally have to be him wanting to be there for the fans, because I'm sure they could throw all kinds of money at him for an appearance, but I think to The Rock he has to want to be there.
He stayed away for 7 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the McMahon's dance, though, to begin the show. I didn't think I'd see Vince back on TV in a while. Because someone said last time he was on TV, he went back and saw himself and saw how old he looked and said, I'm not going on TV for a while. But yet, that's a rumor, so it probably never happened. And
he was on Raw 25 and took a stunner from Austin.
That was probably the time where I heard a rumor where he said, I looked to him, I'm not going back out there. I mean, he does. He's aged. You see it. But I think it's because he doesn't sleep, because he constantly works or thinks about work. So Vince McMahon's going to be 110 years old before he passes away. I know it. I just see it. He's going to be one of those.
I thought
all right, let's talk about Crown Jewel, though, and Vince McMahon and the WWE. Seemingly, they didn't really mention Saudi Arabia, but they're pushing this Crown Jewel event. So in recent news, a journalist, this happened in Turkey, went missing, and he's presumed that he was murdered. And there, again, this is where it feels like a movie, like one of those spy movies.
Right.
It's pointing to Saudi officials that are, in the inner circle of the prince. For whatever reasons, we don't know. I mean, this is just weird stuff that this is like, I don't know if it's terror. It's ridiculous. But it's so early yet. There's not all the facts and answers out there. And WWE has a show, Crown Jewel, in Saudi Arabia. And a lot of people are telling them, well, the Saudis are bad people. They've done something wrong here. You should not go to that country. I think this is one of these situations where I could see them pull back, right? But what are they going to do? Cancel the event? Do it over here? You know what I mean? It's a business. Wrestling's always about promotion, right? Now I know card's subject to change, but I mean, is there a ban from anybody in the United States going to Saudi Arabia right now? Is there high terror alert? Is there anything like that? No, right? So I think, we've always complained about the women not being able to compete over there. So this is just another more sprinkles on the sundae for the people that say WWE shouldn't be in Saudi Arabia anyway, but they're making a lot of money. I believe, go ahead, give us the thumbs down, give me the heat. They should go through with this show But as more news develops on exactly what happened and who's responsible, if it is all tied to Saudi Arabia 100%, which obviously is not going to happen by the time Crown Jewel happens, then for the future deals, sorry, WWE, even if it means your stock goes down to 60 because you're going to lose money, you do have to stop doing business with that country. But it's a wait. You got to wait. So what's everybody's take? I think they need to do Crown Jewel, wait 4 more, could be, stop doing deals, wrestling shows over there. Aaron Rift?
Man, you were talking really fast there for a second. I don't really want to talk about the politics involved with this. I mean, there's possible dismemberment involved, and it's just a really terrible situation. It's bad for WWE. I can understand them trying to let the heat die down and not mention Saudi Arabia on television. I think under most moral circumstances, we would all say WWE should probably not do the show. Maybe they shouldn't have even gotten involved with Saudi Arabia in the first place. But I've learned to get numb about WWE, and I've been that way for a long time. They've done a lot of questionable things and made a lot of questionable decisions over the years. So I am pretty much numb to all of it at this point. They're going to do what they're going to do. They're a business first. Every decision is motivated by money, and that's just the way it is. And you either watch or you don't watch, and, you know, I'm covering it. It's my job, and there are aspects of WWE I enjoy, but there's also a lot that I don't enjoy, and it's a screwed up business. What else can I say? It's just another controversy in the storied history of WWE. What else can be said about it? But I'm sure you guys have something else you might want to add. So, TJS, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, you guys hit the nail on the head, and I agree with Virtue. I think that they should do the show and wait until there's evidence of Saudi Arabia being, guilty of this, instead of just jumping to the conclusions. I know that Saudi Arabia is controversial and everything, but it's a 10-year deal, and there's so much money involved in this. I don't see WWE pulling out, even if Saudi Arabia becomes guilty or is revealed as guilty of this, just because the stock price is just through the roof. And it's like you said, Aaron, they're a business first. And I'm sure that the superstars, they say they don't want to go over there, but I'm sure they have no problem cashing those big checks.
Yeah, pretty much.
And, you had people complaining like, oh, women can't wrestle over there. They shouldn't go over there. But I guarantee you the superstars that say that are the same ones that are cashing the big checks. Like I said, they don't have a problem taking the blood money, but they don't want to admit that they don't mind it. They just they put on a front. And
I would think that for all the females that can't go over there and compete, they're still getting paid, right? Yeah. To be fair, they're probably getting paid to not go over there.
Yeah, I think so. And I feel like if they postpone this whole Crown Jewel event, move the matches or whatever, I don't think we're going to get the Shawn Michaels come out of retirement thing, because he's in it for the big bucks, and I don't know. It's interesting. Big G.
I'm going to disagree with you and Virtue. Ooh. I think they should pull out of Saudi Arabia. They need to know all the facts and everything first, but you got to worry about your superstars. What if something went down there and happened?
Like I said, Big G, is there a terrorist alert?
It's Saudi. No, it's not. But it's Saudi Arabia. Something could happen.
Well, here's the thing: Saudi Arabia. The last thing they want right now is some more controversy on top of everything else. So they're most likely going to treat WWE extra special on this trip and go all out to accommodate them and say, "Hey, look, we're having a great relationship with WWE."
In the matter of seconds, they could just find a venue here in the States and have Crown Jewel, and then
with a lot less money.
And the women still won't wrestle, but they'll still get their everybody will still get their big paydays. But I think you got to worry about your superstars, and if you have some random person just say, "Hey, we put a bomb here," that there is a threat.
Well, if it did happen over here, they would not get the same money, because going over there, that Saudi Arabia controls oil for the whole world, right? For the most part, and $50 million to them is like $100,000 over here.
Okay.
That's why WWE has not just pulled back. They're just laying low, like Aaron said.
Right.
Mentioned Crown Jewel, didn't mention Saudi Arabia. This is the thing is with private enterprise business versus government, WWE is still allowed to do business with them. Now, if there was a terror ban or something like that where you can't travel to certain countries, like, they're not going to do a show in Iran. Right. But Saudi Arabia is supposed to be this growing country that's supposed to become diverse. They still have problems. Everybody knows that. So WWE, I don't think they want to abandon that.
And I mean,
tough.
the cities over there, I mean, they're beautiful. I mean, of course, there are like the bad parts. That's just like the U.S. and everywhere else.
Yeah,
there's the bad parts, but I don't think that the superstars would be in danger because for the greatest Royal Rumble, they treated them like kings. Yep. Did you see that big dinner that they had with?
Yeah, but Chris Jericho actually recently did an interview where he complained about the experience, and he said WWE would have to pay him triple the amount of money to go back to Saudi Arabia.
Interesting.
I think Jericho's getting ready to wrap up with WWE.
I think Jericho's just being Chris Jericho,
unless
and he
this
wants
is a
that.
swerve, and he's actually going to show up there.
No, but he's just saying that Jericho's brilliant. Everybody knows my take on Jericho. So, Big G, any other things? Like, I mean, you were totally against this.
Yeah.
Where would you do it? Where would you do it over here?
Somewhere big. I don't know. I mean, if they do it on a Friday like they were going to, just, I don't know, some big venue somewhere.
I don't think they draw over here. That's the thing. So, like I said, I just, I respect your opinion. I just think unless there's like a ban of traveling there, terrorism or whatever, they have to go through with at least this show. Yeah. And then, of course, long term with their deal, could that be affected if this comes out that Saudi Arabia's actual officials did this and it wasn't just like tyrants or people that said they were with the prince's inner circle but really weren't? There's so much information that needs to break out of all of this.
Yeah, I mean, Trump would need to tell them to not go, I think, for that to actually
I don't think he's going to
be realistic. Yeah, I don't think so either. But yeah, like Virtue said, maybe down the line things could change if more comes out about Saudi Arabia and there's even more controversy in the coming weeks and months. Who knows?
Well, it adds more tension. That's good for WWE because now people are going to wonder, are they going to do it? Is it going to happen? What's going on?
And this it showed up on the John Oliver show. So I mean, this is getting a lot of mainstream attention, which I don't think WWE wants that. But maybe they do. Maybe they do because controversy creates cash.
They have a soccer team in Saudi Arabia, right? Do they have sports teams that compete like in World Cups and stuff like that? They have these stadiums. They have these stadiums.
I know they don't. I know they don't compete in the World Cup though for soccer. I know that for sure.
Maybe they want to one day. Anyways, let's move on. Let's move on to Kevin Owens because it wasn't so long ago that he said I quit.
Right.
And then a week later, he came back, and we're kind of like, well, that just ruined the whole I quit thing. And he got into a program with Lashley and, everything that Strowman. And it turns out he's legit hurt. Right, Aaron? Is this a kayfabe or is this legit? Multiple surgeries. He's going to be out a while. Why didn't they just say I quit and then he was gone from television to get these injuries healed? I don't think they happened from that moment to.
No.
I think he's probably had them.
Yeah, this is something that's been nagging for a while. So you're exactly right.
It could have made that I quit so much better because you knew he was going to get fixed, and then it could just have built and built and built. Look what happened with Ambrose when he came back. Different look. Yep. Different edge. So, TJS, what's your thoughts on this? Do you think they did it wrong? Should Owens have just quit when he said I quit to go get healed?
Yes, absolutely. I think that the only reason that he came back was to work Super Showdown because he was advertised, but card is subject to change, and they lost that match in a decisive way. So it's not like they really needed Owens. They could have replaced him with anyone. I mean, he's been replaced in the Mixed Match Challenge with Bobby Roode. So, of course, you couldn't pair Bobby Roode and Elias up because Bobby Roode's not heel and he's with Gable right now. But you could have replaced him with any generic heel on Raw and it would have been fine. I don't know. I feel like, do you guys think that the double turn still would have happened if if Owens didn't come back? Do you think Lashley would have still turned heel?
Good point, because apparently the word is that the Bobby Lashley turn was finalized the day of the show, which tells me that that was not a plan that WWE had, that they just came up with something last minute. They're like,
Right.
hey, we need a heel to replace Kevin Owens since he's going to be gone, so let's make Lashley heel. But I think a lot of people for a while have been saying, I mean, it's been obvious to all of us, watching this video and all of us doing the video, that Lashley needed the heel turn badly. But apparently WWE just decided the day of that Raw to go through with it.
I'm okay with Owens, his credibility being killed if it means Lashley being heel, because Owens can bounce right back. He's over with the fans, and when he returns, he's going to get that big pop. He's going to be right back on the horse, I hope. Big G.
Yeah, they should have done that when he said I quit. But like you said, he had to work Super Showdown because he was advertised. I think this might be a blessing in disguise, He'll be out, 8 to 9 months because he had both knees done. Have Sami Zayn just on the sideline still, and then when Owens is ready to come back, have them both come out as baby faces. They'll get the big pops, stick them in the tag team division. They could be a good tag team. Kevin Owens, I mean, look at Ambrose. He came back bigger. I'm thinking maybe Kevin Owens could lose a little bit of weight. He's still agile, but I think he could drop a few pounds.
He's like a cannonball, though. I think that's his gimmick, man. If he looked any trimmer and leaner, I don't think it'd be the same Kevin Owens. I think as long as his cardio is great, and it is.
It is.
His whole thing is that he's not the traditional WWE superstar.
Right. Yeah, that's true. That's true too.
But he's also got to look out for his health. He was slimmer back at PWG. When I saw him, he was actually not that heavy. A little heavy, but not too bad. So I think he could definitely benefit from losing a few pounds. And yeah, Big G, I agree with you 100%. I think him and Sami Zayn come back as a babyface tag team together, maybe around WrestleMania, and just go from there and let them do their thing as babyfaces. It's just really unfortunate because he was one of the better performers in the company, and I'll definitely be missing him.
Everybody knows in WWE they have the most vigorous schedule of all of wrestling promotions, and they have to do the most, right? So sometimes, we've talked about this before, injuries are a blessing in disguise because it gives them that rest.
Right.
It lets them get surgeries, heal up, come back fresher and better, hopefully. So to be continued with Kevin Owens.
And they're not as burnt out either. It gives them, like you said, time to rest.
Yep, he'll get to be with his family for a while, so that's good.
We're going to change topics briefly here from WWE to Aaron's favorite, Impact Wrestling. I don't want to really talk too much about their big pay-per-view of the year, Bound for Glory. It's funny, like a decade ago, I always thought like Slammiversary was the big show, but
me too.
Now it's like Bound for Glory, like who knows? But nonetheless, the first thing I want to bring up, Aaron Riff, remember we talked about is Chris Jericho going to show up for Bound for Glory?
Yeah.
Of course he didn't, right? You were right. But we did get James Ellsworth. So, quick thoughts on James Ellsworth and Impact Wrestling. Is he going to keep indie hopping like this? Big G, I'll start with you.
I don't think he is, because he was on a video on YouTube yesterday after SmackDown 1000 saying why he wasn't on SmackDown 1000. So I think it was just a one-time deal. They posted the clip, I think, on their YouTube on Impact with James Ellsworth coming and Eli Drake beat him up, and that was it. I thought it was just a complete joke.
Okay. Well, what do you think if Ellsworth ever did come back to WWE in a regular capacity, that he went to NXT?
Keep him in NXT, yeah, I'd be fine with that,
Tell me what you guys think about this. This is a little bit of fantasy booking. What if you bring in James Ellsworth, and then you have like an older wrestler, take him under his wing, train him a little bit. You have Ellsworth slowly get better in the ring. Over time, to where he's not a jobber anymore. Because we know he can actually wrestle. He actually wrestles on the indies. And you get away from the whole goofy gimmick and, and then you put him on 205 Live or something. How about that? I mean, that would draw numbers, you think?
I don't think people will ever see James Ellsworth as anything other than a complete goofball comedy act.
Well, I think he's going to be Impact World.
That's why I wanted to sprinkle him into NXT. It needs a little bit of comedy goof down there in NXT. It doesn't always have to be so serious about wrestling.
Yeah, it does.
Or USA Network, NXT, 800,000 viewers. Case closed. But I'm, like I said, Aaron, are you guilty of it like I am? I really only watch NXT around the TakeOver events. I binge watch it, catch up, and I watch TakeOver. Big G's religious with NXT.
I am. NXT all the way, baby.
Me too.
What about you? You too?
I watch it weekly, yeah.
Okay, so we got two of us that only watch it when necessary and two religiously. Aaron, if you watched NXT all the time, do you think that you wouldn't like it as much? I think I wouldn't.
I agree with you on that, too. There's only so much wrestling I could take, and I am a creature of habit. I like watching Raw and SmackDown because it's what I'm used to doing. For decades now, that has been my time to watch wrestling. Monday night, Tuesday night, whatever. That's when I watch wrestling, and then I watch the pay-per-view. It has been a ritual, and I think that's the case for a lot of fans. And I'm busy with the site. I'm doing all these different things, and I try to balance my own personal life with following WWE and all that stuff. Yeah. And I don't even have the willpower to watch Impact anymore, but that's more the fact that they just come off very Bush League.
Well, we do have the NoDQ Galaxy does have still some TNA soldiers there. I mean, there are. We know that, right?
There's
whether that's a troll or not, well, probably a couple hundred, but.
I will say this though, I don't watch NXT exactly on Wednesday nights. I usually watch it like a day or two after.
Yeah, it's bad. I still haven't watched that triple threat match, Big G.
What triple threat match?
The one where
Ricochet, Pete Dunne, and
I definitely recommend watch that.
Hey, I just said the triple threat match, and you weren't even sure what I was talking about.
Yeah, I know. And then you brought it up.
And we take the WWE Network for granted. We know it's always going to be there. So if we don't get to ever see it, but one day we want to watch it, we know it's there, right? So
they even have the episodes. You can go back when Seth Rollins started down in NXT. Big E. I've watched some of their episodes.
I do know Britt Baker. Stuff. Britt Baker's down there now. She's Adam Cole's girlfriend.
Do you know?
I like Britt.
Do you know who Seth Rollins beat to win the NXT title for the first title match ever? Do you know who he beat?
I know.
Yeah, it's Bo Leave. I thought.
No. He beat Jinder Mahal. Yep.
That's crazy.
Interesting. Anyway, we're not done talking about Impact yet, or kinda. We want to talk about one Austin Aries. So he went on a Twitter outrage, right, the week leading into Bound for Glory. Johnny Impact, which, Mr. Starship Pain,
right.
He was tweeting back at him. And they were in the main event at Bound for Glory. When the match was over, Johnny Impact won the match, became the Impact champion. As soon as the 1, 2, 3 was done, Aries popped up, basically no-sold the finish, flicked off Don Callis, the crowd, and left. And in a Vince Russo-style angles, like Aaron likes to say. So in wrestling, I always get confused, especially when the cameras are rolling. What's kayfabe, which there isn't anymore, and what's real? I still don't know. I could see it being Aries being pissed, but if your contract's done, why would you just do that? I mean, you know what I mean? If he really wanted, he would have left, not even been there to do the match, right?
Exactly.
That's how you would have. So, TJS, what's your thoughts on this? I mean, if he is done with Impact, was it just to get some buzz on the way out?
I don't know. I agree with you, though. If his contract was done, why did he show up and wrestle the match? Why wouldn't he just say, like, hey, give me the finger poke of doom? Or, if he knew he was leaving, he could have just not shown up, forfeited the title, whatever. He took the Starship Pain, took the 1, 2, 3, and then got up and no-sold it. If his contract was up, why wouldn't he just kick out at 2 like every time, just to mess up Impact's whole thing?
Yeah.
Because we know he's not professional. Austin, the unprofessional Aries. We've heard it from WWE, how he's been hard to work with. And this guy thought that he was the face of the cruiserweight division, and I mean, his cruiserweight match was on the kickoff of WrestleMania. So
do you think he's like the American Del Rio? Because Del Rio has habits of this type of stuff too.
Yes.
No shows.
Maybe he's not as bad as Del Rio, but Aries, he needs to get it together because it does not make you look good when you don't know the difference between your and your on Twitter.
Yeah.
And he's not making himself look good.
Yeah, that was weird. If that was a work, then yeah, he might want to actually try to double check his grammar before he publishes tweets. I don't know if I told you guys.
Reigns is the same way.
I don't know if I told you guys this story or not publicly, but I posted something about Austin Aries a couple months back, and for the graphic that I used for the post on Twitter and Facebook, I used the image of Aries shoving his crotch in Christy Hemi's face just because I thought it was funny, and sometimes I like to post funny pictures on Twitter and Facebook to go with the headlines. And he actually
know the game. Yeah.
He actually DM'd me and said, "Nice clickbait image, you hacks, you dirt street hacks."
Wow, interesting.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I hope Aries doesn't have like demons or issues like concussion, CTE, or something. You know what I mean? If he's acting this strained publicly, I hope it's a work. I'd be concerned for people.
Apparently, it's a long-standing thing because in WWE he had a terrible attitude, from what they say, and he just walked out on WWE. That was the biggest that he's going to get. I mean, Aries is good in the ring, but he's not getting anywhere with this style of behavior. It's just very unprofessional, and I definitely don't see him coming back to WWE anytime soon.
No.
And you know
Big
what?
G.
If it is a work and he shows up for the January pay-per-view, is anybody really going to care? I don't think so. But Big G, anything you would like to add about it? Yeah, they're doing it at the Asylum. It's Homecoming.
It's that far away?
Yeah.
It's TNA or Impact. Ooh.
Unless he wants to, I know he's worked with Ring of Honor too, so unless he's just going to go be loyal to Ring of Honor and said F you, maybe Don Callis, maybe whoever's running Impact now, they had arguments, maybe that is legit, but we'll have to see. I mean, you could ruin your career when you're unprofessional like that in wrestling and never get booked.
What if Austin Aries is the conquistador next week on Raw? How about that?
I don't. I'll give somebody a free T-shirt if that happens. But yeah, I think
you'll either see him back.
I think this is a no-win situation for Impact. If it's a work, nobody's going to care anyways, and if it's a shoot, then yeah, Aries looks like a complete asshole. So
why would you flip off the fans? Like, I don't understand. What did they do? They showed up.
I don't know. I don't know what it accomplishes either way, whether it's a work or a shoot, and I really don't care. And that's what makes it sad. It is a no-win situation for Impact. Nobody cares. Big
G. Chomping at the bit.
You guys pretty much said everything. I mean, the last place I could think is Ring of Honor. When I went to Ring of Honor back during the summertime, I mean, he was there wrestling, and I think he was still part of Impact at the time because he was the title belt collector or whatever, and he had all the titles. So yeah, I think if anything, Ring of Honor. If not, he'll do some local indie shows somewhere. I don't know.
You said he's the title collector. Now he has the title of entitled asshole.
Well, when this is posted, I'm definitely tweeting the link to this video at Austin Aries. So we'll see if he DMs Aaron Rift again. We're giving honest opinions. I mean, that's the beauty. That's what the NoDQ Galaxy does.
Yeah.
All right. Well, moving on back to WWE. So on Raw this week, obviously they're still teasing the Shield thing with Dean Ambrose. What's going to happen there? We talked about this. It's going to drag out and drag out and drag out, right? Nothing will ever come to it. But Strowman, McIntyre, and Ziggler, poof. You guys have to explain exactly what happened to me with this. I take out of it that obviously, Strowman's going to be Strowman, doesn't need anybody. Brock and Roman for the Universal title. Is this McIntyre's push? Right? I mean, he used to be the chosen one. He was a former Intercontinental Champion. Then we all know what happened. Fell out of favor with management, 3MB, left the company, came back, was in NXT, got hurt, and got bumped quite abruptly when he came back from injury to the main roster. He looks the part. Is he marketable? Could he be a top guy in WWE? What's your whole thought on this triangle, this group? What were they called? The Dogs of War?
Dog pack.
Dog pack. Okay. Break it down where each one of these guys, and your thoughts, what's going to happen with them. So who wants to go first? Big G, your hand is up. Go.
All right. So basically, Strowman is a face again after McIntyre hit the Claymore kick on him the second time, and he walked off, but he left Ziggler behind. So if they are going to do a big push for Drew, they would have to drop the titles to some random tag team on Raw.
Revival.
At this point, I don't really care about the Raw tag team division. So they would have to drop the titles. McIntyre would have to turn on Ziggler, or Ziggler would turn on McIntyre to make McIntyre a face. And then eventually down the road, after Strowman, Lesnar, and Reigns, he could go face Reigns for the Universal title. Or my friend yesterday, Christian, actually said he could face Seth Rollins and have Rollins drop the IC title to McIntyre and have McIntyre as the IC champion. As far as Strowman goes, like, Strowman doesn't need anybody. And Ziggler can just go back to having his record scratch and the best.
All right, so you basically said Ziggler mid-card, Strowman main event, which he's kind of already been.
Yeah.
And then McIntyre potentially Intercontinental title picture with Seth. I mean, not bad, although McIntyre lived that once already, so.
Yeah, but, I mean, they're not going to they're not going to put the Universal title on McIntyre.
But should they? TJS?
Well, let me just say that I noticed a small detail that happened before Strowman turned heel. He said to Reigns, he's like, "I told you, I'm not finished with you," which is what he said when he was a heel. And he said that before he power slammed Reigns for the first time when he turned heel. Right. Now, what did he say when he was babyface? He did the get these hands thing.
Yep.
On Raw, we heard him. He said like 5 times, like, "You're going to get these hands." So he's back to that. He's saying to get these hands things. And he's so frustrated with the dog pack that he laid out Ziggler, and he was going to lay out McIntyre, but got the Claymore. So, I mean, it looks to me like Braun is he's becoming a babyface again. Thank God. And then, is this McIntyre's push? I don't know. It's hard to say because we have the Crown Jewel show coming up, and Braun's kind of entangled in a feud already with Roman and Brock. So maybe McIntyre gets added to that and we make it a fatal 4-way? Since Ziggler's in the World Cup, I mean, they can't really defend the tag titles on that show. Right. So they're either going to drop the titles before then, or I don't know what's going on. But I think Ziggler is going to stay in the mid card. Braun's going to go down to the mid card, and McIntyre is moving up to the main event. I think we're going to get Roman versus McIntyre as the next big feud. So, Aaron?
Well, I'm very confused about the whole situation. I think we could still end up seeing Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman long-term in WWE, maybe as soon as Survivor Series. I know that there was a survey that apparently leaked out about WWE asking fans how interested they are in seeing Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman at Survivor Series. So I don't know how accurate that is. And I was thinking maybe WWE would try to do that match for WrestleMania, one final battle between Strowman and Reigns. I know you're shaking your head, but I'm thinking WWE logic here and what they like to do.
Give it a stipulation.
Yeah, McIntyre definitely, I think, is on the rise. He's got the body. You know, he reinvented himself. I think it's only a matter of time before he does get a push towards the Universal title. When that is, I don't know. I could see McIntyre feuding with Ziggler first, if anything. I'm really curious, though. Is McIntyre going to feud with Strowman? That I don't know, but I could potentially see McIntyre and Ziggler feuding for a while, having their breakup. But they are still the tag team champions. Who beats them? I have no idea.
So, do you think that McIntyre is marketable, though? Because I think he looks like a badass. Like, he gets the bagpipes, and then he looks like, they have the camera down, sort of like the Andre the Giant thing. He's like 6'7". Like, this guy, he looks cool.
Yeah. Well, was he really a chosen one? Did Vince really endorse him back then, or was that just something they said on air?
That was just
Know what I
something
mean?
they said on air. That's what I think.
Yeah. Well, obviously they got rid of him, so I couldn't have endorsed him
But
too
I
much.
think
But yeah, he's back.
I think
Yeah.
he's a lot better than what he was back then. Even when his 2010 run, when he had the Broken Dreams thing, I think that I think he looks better now because I feel like he's a lot more buff and everything. And
Right.
he has the brutal finisher as opposed to just the butterfly DDT. He's money, and he even cuts better promos now. So
isn't that Ambrose's finisher now? Dirty Deeds, kind of, sort of, similar.
Yeah.
All right.
I like McIntyre's entrance. By the way, that's all I have to say.
I like that original theme song he used to have, but remember Broken Dreams?
Yeah,
I like that. Yeah.
All right. Well, how long have we been running, Aaron? 45 minutes, 50 minutes? It's time for the main event. So we're getting close to the first ever all-female pay-per-view in the WWE. What's it called, gentlemen?
Evolution.
All right. So this is how I wrote the topic out. Is Evolution, the pay-per-view, whatever we call them today, network events, is it focusing, critical thinking here, is it focusing too much on Diva-era talent? Yes, we on NoDQ.com, Virtue here is saying, is it focusing too much on Diva-era talent? Is that because maybe WWE just still can't go all in with what fans want today, wrestling, and they have to rely on entertainment, looks, I'm sorry, but Lita, Trish Stratus, which is the nostalgia, the Bella Twins, looks. It seems to me that this event is getting inundated with Diva-era talent. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Everybody should be included on this first one.
Right.
But I have a feeling they just aren't all. If you want females wrestling, this is how WWE looks at it. Go to the network and watch the Mae Young Classic. So I feel, Aaron, I want to start with you. I just think that they are worried about this Evolution pay-per-view being as big of a success as they want to, so they're making sure it has the star power in their eyes. And the nostalgia and the fact that a lot of fans want to see Becky and all these younger females dominate the show, I just don't think it's going to happen. I mean, we're going to see them. They're going to participate. What's your take on this? I'm getting that Vince McMahon vibe.
Right. Well, right now, I think if I was in charge, I would have maybe announced one or two more high-profile matches with the current women and put more of the focus on them. I mean, I totally understand Trish, Lita being there, the Bella Twins, Nikki versus Ronda. That all makes sense to me from a marketing standpoint. I think, though, you can satisfy those fans out there that want to see the NXT-style matches. I mean, right now, I think there's only 5 matches that are confirmed for the pay-per-view. I would have had a full card at least a week or two ago, all set in stone, and just have 8 matches and just build it up.
There's a battle royal, right?
Yes, there is a battle royal. The winner getting a title opportunity. Well, this was obvious. This was something.
They advertised over 50 women.
Yeah, you got to get everybody a spot on the card. I mean, that doesn't surprise me at all. It's going to be a really interesting pay-per-view to see how it all plays out and if it can keep people invested from start to finish. It's going to be a challenge because it's something that hasn't been done. It's unprecedented. It's uncharted waters, and I hope they can pull it out. I really
right
do.
now, Aaron, before you pass it on, so of what you know is going to be at this event, match-wise, what are you looking most forward to? If you had to pick one thing.
Probably Ronda Rousey versus Nikki Bella. I mean, that's
even
been
more than Becky versus Charlotte and the last woman standing?
I mean, they're both pretty close, but I thought the segment on Raw was really strong, and the problem with Charlotte and Becky is
what if their roles were reversed and we got Becky as the babyface like a lot of fans want, and Charlotte was a heel?
Okay, maybe that would change my opinion on it. But yeah, I feel like after watching SmackDown this week, WWE's still trying to make Becky the heel here, and it didn't work. Edge got booed when he started ripping into
That's
Becky.
why I was talking about hand on the Johnson thing, because they made Becky insult him, even the neck, don't break your neck on the way out, and they just let Edge take it.
It's a heel line.
Yeah,
so,
poor Edge.
So that's it is hurting my overall enjoyment of the feud.
That's where I wanted Beth Phoenix to show up. That would have been awesome.
or something. But yeah, I thought the Raw segment was really interesting with Ronda Rousey and Nikki Bella. So right now, that's the match I'm most intrigued to see how that plays out, and I think that could end up having the most heat. But we'll see what happens with Becky. I think Becky and Charlotte, that match is going to have a lot of heat too. But it's going to be everyone cheering for Becky and Charlotte getting booed out of the building.
All right, well, good take. We'll go to Big G because that finger was pointing in the air again.
All right, Trish, go ahead.
Well, I'm going to give Evolution the benefit of the doubt. I'm looking forward to it. Like you said, we're going to see the current roster. We're going to see some nostalgia. We have, I think, 6 matches already. I don't know how many are confirmed, but you have all 4 titles. You have the 2 main titles. You have the NXT Women's title. You have the NXT UK title being defended. You have the Mae Young Classic final. You have the Battle Royal. You have Trish and Lita versus Alexa and Mickey. So that's 7 matches there already, including the Battle Royal, where you're gonna have people from the past like Tori Wilson. They announced today Ivory is gonna be there, and I think Molly Holly is gonna be there. So I'm looking forward to it. It'll bring back some of my childhood. It's got NXT in there. It's got the Mae Young Classic in there. I'm looking forward to it.
Good points. It's
I'm
for everybody.
I forgot about
Something
the
for
NXT
everybody.
matches, to be honest with you, because I'm thinking Bella's, Lita, Trish, Ronda.
Yeah, but for the fans that want that stuff, it's going to be represented.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for. Hopefully, it's only a 3-hour pay-per-view and not a 4-hour pay-per-view.
Right. Agree.
And
you want to make them get their time, though. You don't want to cut any match short. I mean, well, like the NXT title match, you don't want to make that the curtain jerk match. You know what I mean?
No. I mean, they usually go 3.5 hours, 3 hours and 45 minutes. So I mean, if it's that, then it's fine. Hopefully, they won't have no Evolution kickoff pre-match show. That'll just be stupid.
There should be no more kickoffs ever.
No, absolutely. That's my thought on it. Did TGS go yet? I can't remember. No, he didn't.
It's his turn.
Okay, go.
Well, I don't know about this show. I mean, of course we're getting the older, the past names, but we got those at the Women's Rumble, so it's gonna be like, hey, didn't I just see them earlier this year? So I feel like the pop's not gonna be as big. And by the way, I will mention that they announced another female Royal Rumble on Raw. When they were plugging the ticket sales, Michael Cole mentioned it very subtly. He said, don't forget, 30 women are going to also have a Royal Rumble. So we're going to be having that, and I'm really worried what WWE is going to do. Are they just going to keep relying on these old names to sell tickets? I mean, are we going to have Evolution 3 and we're going to have Trish again?
Are we going to have Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker at WrestleMania?
Yeah, they need to build new stars. This is a long-standing problem for WWE. Brock Lesnar shouldn't even be in the Crown Jewel match. I think Vince needs to trust his guys enough to have them main event the shows, the newer talent. Same thing with the women. I mean, of course, we get Ronda. Ronda's closing the show with Nikki. But, I'm looking forward to that match the most, like Aaron said. And as far as Becky versus Charlotte, I'll say that it's not the first last woman standing match. That actually happened in NXT. It was Nikki Cross versus Asuka, and that is one of my favorite women's matches of all time. It's going to be very hard to top it, but we'll see what happens. So I have a feeling it's going to be 4 hours, though, because they've been starting at 7 Eastern. So we'll see.
And, building new stars is as simple as pushing them without restrictions.
Like the Shield.
CM Punk got to cut a promo, and he was already a world champion, kind of a B-show main eventer, with the Straight Edge Society, that whole era. But then they let him do the pipe bomb, and it went super over. Daniel Bryan got his push, right? They booked him strong at WrestleMania 30. They can do this, but they just don't want. I don't know what it is. I really don't. And it's just they have to take handcuffs off, and whether that even means, well, how do we get people to first like the guys we want them to like? If the fans would like Roman, we'll push Daniel Bryan back to the main event. Like, I wonder what fans would do if they were given that ultimatum by Vince McMahon, which would never happen. Well, if you kind of like Roman or support him, you don't have to like fully cheer him, but don't hate him like you do. If you support him a little bit, we'll push Daniel Bryan. Wouldn't that be kind of like a cool bargaining chip?
Look at Seth Rollins in 2015. This guy was hated because he destroyed the Shield, and now he's arguably the top babyface on Raw.
Yeah.
It doesn't take. All they have to do is just. All they did was add 3.
Well, look at the Shield period. How they were.
Go ahead
from
with
the
Seth
beginning.
Rollins, and then I'll tell you my point. Go ahead.
Yeah. Anyway, you add 3 words to his theme. The crowd gets into that. They love to burn it down. And I mean, Seth Rollins, he was in the Shield when he started out, and he just kind of blended in with the rest of them. But once he got out on his own, and he fought Sting, and he was wrestling for the Universal title, and he was endorsed by Triple H. His stock went up, and he became like a main event level superstar, which is what he is today. They just have to
last year back to I think it's because they're letting him the 75-minute match or whatever they had. The curb stomp was brought back. They're allowing Rollins to showcase what he can do, which is what the fans want to see. You think the hate for Roman would be cut in half if they at least turned him heel? Because the fans, let's see Roman heel. We hate him, so might as well make him heel. They just don't produce the wrestlers they have the right way. And I think a lot, I've had people tell me, well, Roman's not talented, or Strowman gets blown up in the ring, this and that, and this is when it's all said and done, it's because they don't produce the wrestlers to their strengths. And I blame management, I blame creative. That's what I think why WWE stumbles, why ratings are down. It's not the talent they have. On record, doesn't WWE technically have the biggest talent pool it's ever had?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If they produced it the right way, you could have great things happen. But they're cookie cuttering it. They're making it watered down, so much television. That's why I think we don't have the big star that's over anymore.
No.
Yep.
That's all I got. Anybody else want to bring up one last topic? If not, we're going to close the show.
I mean, it's just.
I have a really quick trivia question for you guys.
Oh no.
Who won?
Rick Cherry's not on this show.
Are you in the tournament, TJS? I didn't.
I'm not. But
So why are you talking?
It's just a very easy. It's a very easy question. Who won the Men's Royal Rumble in 2018?
Nakamura.
Yeah.
Look at him now. Remember what the Royal Rumble used to do?
We'll look at Asuka too. I mean, it's
Yeah.
It's because
Asuka should be right now so strong. She could be against Rousey at this Evolution. Nothing against the Bellas, but you know what I mean. But
yeah.
But
It's
now
management.
It's their English. It's their broken English.
Yeah, but
it's so.
I was making fun yesterday. I was saying they should put all these Japanese stars together, make a faction, and have Funaki as their manager because he can speak the better English than any of them.
Sick burn.
Not
not a bad idea. You know what? That's creative. I'll give you that.
He's fallen off a cliff, man, and he just
Because Kyrie's saying when she can't even say evolution right. She goes evolution. And I'm like, I feel bad.
There goes
I mean,
the thumbs down.
This reminds me of that Jinder Mahal promo about Mr. Miyagi.
The thing is, though, Japanese style wrestling, strong style that Nakamura and Asuka do, you don't need to talk. You don't need to cut promos. Yeah. There's just something about speaking in Japanese too before and after a fight, which works, right? I could hear those two talk in Japanese and not understand one word. And I guess Dave Meltzer actually loves Japanese promos, and he doesn't even understand them because you just get that vibe about it, and it's cool. It's cool. And Nakamura is looking. He's looking.
Just the tone and the attitude.
He's looking at Nakamura is looking at his bank account going up and up and up, and at some point he's like, "Is this all worth it?" Well, yeah, because he knows he'll be headlining Wrestle Kingdom again one day. So anyway, that's it.
I mean, wrestling it's big in Japan, even WWE, even because I went to Ribera Steakhouse, and I don't know if you guys have seen that place, but there's pictures of wrestlers everywhere, and that's where they go every time they go over there.
You went to Japan. I want to go there one day because I'm a video game fan. I want to come back with a bunch of cool stuff.
Yeah, I've been to Tokyo and everything. It was awesome. But and it's weird because the kids speak better English than some adults over there. It's really weird. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, well, good chat. Good chat. This is the NoDQ review number 37. So let's make our rounds. Big G, I will start with you.
NoDQ.com/Jeff takes you to my Twitter page. You can follow me there. I'm almost at 200 followers. Instagram, NoDQ_Big G. I'm on Facebook, Jeffrey Hilltool. NoDQ.com/shirts. Everybody's got shirts there. People asked me about where I got my shirt yesterday in DC. I plugged the website, did everything I could for the website and NoDQ, and that is it for the Big G.
Sweet. TJS?
NoDQ.com/TJS takes you to my Facebook. Go ahead and add me, talk to me, send me hate mail, whatever. Twitter @NoDQ_TJS. That's where you can keep up with, like I said, my Twitter feed. Sometimes I live tweet during the shows. Sometimes I don't because I fall asleep during them because they're that bad. And like Big G said, NoDQ.com/shirts. We got tons of shirts there. You see Virtue wearing that NoDQ review shirt. One of my personal favorites. He's even got the beanie, even though that's not for sale right now, but it might be in the future. So, that's all I got. Aaron.
All right, so I mentioned it earlier. Greg Cherry has his tournament set up. The brackets are available on his page. Go over to NoDQ.com/Greg. I'm apparently in the tournament. Greg never asked me about being in the tournament. He just threw me in there. So I'm in there, and apparently if I beat the first guy, I get to face Jeff. So if I had to make a bold prediction, I'm going to say Jeff is going to win his bracket. There's 4 brackets. Jeff's going to win his. Chris Cass will win one. David Diaz will win his, and then Brian Zane from Wrestling with Regret will win his, and that's going to be those final 4, and then they'll have their little mini tournament, and then the winner faces Greg Cherry for the
championship. It's going to be a good tournament, though. Guys, check out the bracket, guys. That's going to be good.
What are they calling that thing? It's Crown Jewel World Cup?
World Cup.
Yeah. That's what this should be. This should be the World Cup.
The NoDQ World Cup. I like it. Well, again, you guys go over to NoDQ.com/Greg, and you can get more info there, and you can send your feedback to Greg Cherry. All right, Virtue, let's go ahead and wrap this up.
All right, follow me on Twitter @NoDQ_Virtue, and you can go see my Virtue's Rages, which are there still Tuesday nights, Big G, normally? Tuesday nights at 11 over on NoDQ.com/Virtue with a small V. So, with that said, I am Virtue for Big G, TJS, and Aaron Rift. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.